What's up, everybody? Welcome back for another episode of Into the Flu. You're probably wondering why I have this easy home repair binder right in front of me, and I will tell you. So, I was recently on an East Coast trip with my wife, and we went into Boston and then drove up through New Hampshire into Maine, where we eventually stopped. And on our way, you know, like throughout the drive, I always like to kind of pull over and see some unique, like antique spots, like some of those little tiny shops that you kind of run into along the way, which is the coolest thing about driving. I'm used to doing a lot of driving because I'm in Arizona and you have to drive everywhere. So anyway, I decided it'd be kind of fun. So I pulled over into this comic shop, and they had like a bunch of different things, like, you know, manga and anime and comic books and cards and all kinds of cool stuff. And it's like very seldom that I've ever been able to find anything that I'm really interested in terms of like old school, like Harry Potter stuff in any of these shops. Cause it's usually like newer things, or even if it's older things, for some reason, people just they didn't really keep around a lot of the Harry Potter stuff. So anyway, I'm looking around. I'm actually getting ready to leave because I had been there for like 15 minutes. And then I went over to their cards section where I had been before, and I just saw like Pokemon and Magic the Gathering. And then at the very bottom of this like bookshelf, I saw this right here. Harry Potter TCG 2001 to 2002. And I was like, no way. Like, this is wild. So I get this binder out. I asked if I could see it, and they were like, yeah, of course you can. So, you know, I got this binder out, and it's filled with the Harry Potter TCG 2001, 2002. And I was just like in shock, really, because I'm like, no one has this ever. I mean, like, whoever it was that had the Harry Potter TCG cards, like in their shop, I don't know what happened around that time, you know, like just for some reason, people just don't have them. Like everybody's like, yeah, like I remember the game, but like people just didn't keep it around. So it was just kind of interesting to me. Everybody seems to know, and cards have passed through their shop, but they just never kept them. They probably threw them out or whatever when the game met its demise. So it came in this binder, like this is how they had it, you know, with that little sticky note there on the end. And after looking through a lot of these cards, you know, like the person who had worked there was like, yeah, no one's ever like looked at this. Like people don't really care. Like every so often someone might take it out and be like, oh, like what's this? And then just put it away because they just have no interest in it. And so they're like, yeah, I mean, you know, if you want, you know, to look through, we can make a deal. And so, you know, it kind of sounded like no one really cared about it at all. And so I just said, well, what if I just bought the whole thing? And I think the owner of the shop was really happy to hear that, because he was like, yeah, like it's been here for way too long. I don't even know what to do with it. And so we managed to come up with a deal that we were both happy with. And I got to take, you know, home these cards. There's nothing really special about any of them. There aren't too many like rare, you know, super rare cards. There aren't too many Chamber of Secrets cards in here. Nothing that, you know, is really like popping out at me. We were talking like a cent, you know, 35 cents, 10 cents, you know, so nothing that's like phenomenal to a point where I'm like, oh, like gold mine, right? But to me, like the Harry Potter TCG in itself is a gold mine. And so, because I build a lot of decks and I play the game and I give a lot of decks away, as I've mentioned to a lot of you, and some of you have taken me up on that offer and you've hit me up, and I've been able to send you some stuff. You know, this will always come in handy. And I think it's also cool that, you know, like these are each individually priced, and somebody took the time to write down, you know, like, like nearly mint 2001, you know, like what it was. It was a few pages ago that had like Chamber of Secrets and 2002 and, you know, like all that kind of stuff. And yeah, a lot of these pages are just lessons, you know, and so like obviously, you know, like the lesson, I mean, I have thousands of lessons, but like here, like Quidditch Cup expansion, you know, like it's just super cool that somebody took the time to write all of that. And so I wanted to keep it intact the way that it was written, the way that it, you know, was organized by that shop. I think it's really cool. 2002 Diagon Alley set, you know, like well, it's base, doesn't matter. But yeah, you know, I think it's from the starter set. But anyway, but you know, like, it's just like really cool. Like, it says 2002 Chamber of Secrets. There's a card in here though. These are a couple of the Chamber of Secrets expansions. I mean, this is a cool card in itself, right? 75 cents. Like, that's wild, right? So, Adventures at Hogwarts, of course, beautiful stuff. There is a pretty cool card in here that, if we see it, then great. But, you know, I just thought that it was, like, really sweet that somebody would, like, you know, cut all that out and color it and, you know, make it look nice and appealing for a potential customer who wanted to, you know, like, buy this stuff and get into it. But as he said, you know, like, no one really looks into it. No one is interested at all. I did tell him about the channel, and I told him, of course, about the, look at that, Herbinian Black Dragon. Nice, 50 cents. There you go. See? 50 cents. Sell them today. You know, so I got told him about all that stuff. And I was like, you know, like, if you or anybody wants to get into the game, you know, I of course, told him about the Discord that we have and all that stuff as well. You know, so that if I didn't want to feel like I was taking away, you know, like, the opportunity for somebody to go and buy it. But he's like, you know, he's had that shop for decades, right? And nobody has done anything. And so I was like, oh, well, I'll appreciate the cards, you know, like, I'll give them some love. And I won't probably go into this binder to, like, build decks or anything because I have so many cards, but there are a couple cards in here that, you know, I could potentially utilize, but I just really like all of this stuff. I just think it's super cool. This is the card here that I was talking about, though, that I thought was really, really awesome. So this is 75 cents, 2001, and top crimped due to card pack sealing error is what it says. And can you see that okay? Yeah, you could. There you go. Yeah. Which I really like error cards and crimped cards. I have a couple of them in my collection already, but as I said, I'll just keep this in here. I'll keep the binder as it is, you know, intact. But, you know, like, that's the benefit of kind of cruising around and checking out some spots that, you know, you've never checked out before. And that's one of the things that I really enjoy doing when traveling. I like comic books and reading and all kinds of stuff. So I always do, like, coffee shops, comic book shops, bookshops, and card shops if there are any. I've not yet walked into a card shop where I've found the TCG, with the exception of about 6 years ago. There's a card shop here in Phoenix when I was, like, you know, trying to find some more cards and stuff, and they had a couple. They had, like, literally a couple, like, 2 or 3 cards, and then I ended up telling them that I was interested in it, and then it turns out that they were just, like, buying boxes from, like, the same sites that I was, and they were, like, opening them up and selling them to me, you know. So it was kind of slimy, but I think that was, like, 6 years ago or something like that. But anyway, it doesn't matter. That was the only card shop that I had seen cards, like, in the wild. It's very, very seldom. Every once in a while, I'll find something and I'll post it on my Instagram, you know, so I'm sure you've seen me post a couple, like, booster packs and things like that, but, like, a whole binder filled with cards, I just thought that was super cool. This, you know, like, even just some that are damaged, right? Like, maybe it was played, you know, maybe somebody had a cool time playing it, maybe not, maybe somebody just, you know, like, damaged it getting it out of a booster pack, but as I said, you know, like, I just think that it's, you know, sometimes when I see cards like this that are just, like, collecting dust, I sort of, you know, it's like, it's not the greatest thing to witness, because it's such a cool game and people have literally forgotten about it because it's not something that is trending right now. You know, it's not something that is as popular as Pokemon or Magic the Gathering or Yu-Gi-Oh! Or whatever other new card games are out, but it doesn't mean that it's not as fun to play. It doesn't mean that it's not as cool. It doesn't mean that it's not as artistic or creative. You know, like, the Harry Potter TCG is of course, as you all know, in my opinion, like, one of the best card games, if not the best card game, in my opinion. Which is why I have all of the stuff that I do in terms of, like, the YouTube channel and the Instagram and the Discord, and try to keep, like, games alive, you know, for people all around the world, you know, whenever we have time to play, you kind of hop on there and say, hey, who's available? Because we want to be able to, you know, to keep that going. So, but yeah, you know, like if I felt like I was going to be taking this away from like a crew of people who were interested in the game in that specific area, then I would have kept it there. But from what the owner had told me, and he would know best, I wasn't doing that, and he was really happy that I was able to take this. So so anyway, I just wanted to share that with you, and like a few of these have, you know, like multiples in there, which is pretty cool too. I don't think any of the rares necessarily do, but it doesn't really matter. Maybe, no, that's just one card. Anyway, I just wanted to share that all with you. Let me know your thoughts. Have you seen any Harry Potter TCG out in the wild like this? Do you have any card shops, comic shops in your area that you can go and visit and say, hey, do you have any Harry Potter TCG, and see what they say? Anyway, I hope you enjoyed. As always, have fun, be safe, and hopefully I'll catch you in some games.